To everyone watching, my advice is very simple. Do not buy these boxes. If we call
Don't let your kids watch it!
So hello guys, and today I basically just wanted to talk about something that's really kind of pissed me off with wargaming. I just saw the video from Iyouxin. I don't watch a lot of his content, but I do quite like it here and now, and he's actually really good at the game. He just uploaded a video, when was it? I don't think it was that long ago. Fuck, I don't know when about it was, but he pretty much just uploaded it now. And it's basically saying that he has been kicked from the CC program. So without going into further detail, let's watch the video and have a look why he's been kicked. I have already watched it, and it's complete and utter shit, and Wargaming should be completely ashamed of themselves. Oh, they did, yeah, 5 hours ago he uploaded it. And yeah, like I said, Wargaming should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for what they've done. He's basically broken Rule 8 of the CC program, which as far as I can tell, it's basically a rule that says you can have an opinion, but you can't have an opinion if it disagrees with wargaming, or even worse, if it costs them money. Ooh, God for fucking beard, if it costs them any money. I think we all know where this is going and what this is in relation to, basing that Iyouxin basically started this sort of the movement of not buying the loot boxes, which I myself actually did. I didn't buy any of the loot boxes, which I was planning to, prior to his video coming out, and also other CCs that also did videos, and we're also going to be discussing that as well, because he is the only one thus far that has had any repercussions of this. And why? Well, because I believe he's the smaller creator out of the CC ones, so he's an easy target. And yeah, it's essentially bullying. It really is bullying, and I really hope that people like Quickie Baby, people like Skillful You, you know, there's a lot of other ones out there as well. I really hope that the main ones there do talk about this and do put wargaming in their place, because they 100% deserve it. They deserve to get bent over and get a red fucking arse for this. They deserve a good spanking. Yeah, absolutely disgusting what they've done. But like I said, I've watched the video. I don't know if you guys have, but we'll watch it together, and hopefully you'll understand why I'm a little bit pissed off at the moment with Wargaming's decision, based on the fact that I really like the game, and it's a shame to see the company be so rotten that make the games. But yeah, let's have a look.
this is a video I honestly never thought I would have to make. On Thursday, Wargaming kicked me from content creator program.
You absolute fucking scum. You got kicked off of the Wargaming CC program. Jesus Christ, I can only wait to hear the absolute horrors that he's fucking been committing, the atrocities that he's done. They don't just kick anybody off the CC program. You've got to have done some time in the slammer to be kicked off of the program. This isn't just any lightweight issue. You know, this is Wargaming. They make sure that, you know, if they kick you, there's for good bloody reason they're going to be kicking you. Let's have a look why they kicked him.
About a month ago, Wargaming introduced multi-tier loot boxes with their Rome Falter event. I'm talking about loot boxes within the loot boxes within the loot boxes, where you had to gamble through 3 different levels if you wanted to receive all of the tanks.
It's basically 3 types of loot boxes. There's the common, the rare, and the epic. Ooh, wow. Essentially, you had to start at the common. You could only buy common loot boxes to begin with, and you could have a chance of getting a rare or an epic. You can then have a chance of getting a rare. Once you got a rare, you would then have to gamble even more, and then you can get an epic. And where there were so many new different tanks, for example, there was like a heavy Czechoslovakian one, and then there was a heavy Polish tank. There were sort of multiple sort of new tanks, to the point where even if you had all of the current tanks that were in the loot boxes, so you didn't have a chance of getting them, you would still have so many tanks to have to try and get through that it would just be, and it worked out about £1,000+ on a free online game, which is absolutely ridiculous. But basically what he's referring to is that it's essentially an unfair system in regards to how you need to get these new tanks. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new tanks that you can get, and then they have typical loot box crap that they fill in. A bunch of free experience and crew books. I don't even know who uses premium time or who needs premium time anymore. I mean, I'm literally overflowing with it at the moment. All of the 50% crew experience and the credits and the free experience that you can activate in the battles. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the only reason they throw that in is not to be generous, it's to clog up the chances of you earning a tank that you want. Because let's face it, you are not going into the loot boxes wanting that crap. You're going in wanting the brand new, shiny, cool tanks. And they put all of that shit in there so you can't get it, so you have to spend more and more and more and more and more money. And this is the first loot box system, I may add, that is the only one where you could never get any of the new tanks. Very unlikely, but you could never get any of it, and you would just be spending, putting money in the loot machine, in the slot machine, sorry, every bloody time, and you can get nothing out of it. And in a Peggy 7 game, which is what this is rated as, that is damn right irresponsible and frankly harmful to a lot of the people that play this. Now, of course, it's if there's younger people, that's on the parents to basically do all of that, and I don't really give a shit about that. But wargaming needs to take some responsibility there. So this is the completely broken crap loot box system that Iyouxin is basically referring to in the video that he was discussing that got him removed from the CC program. And so it's important to know, if you don't already, which you probably do if you're a fan of Order Tanks, how corrupt this system was, and why not just him, but so many other CCs expressed their outrage towards this, because this is the game moving in an entirely new direction, a direction of basically being a business, which I totally understand. Wargaming is a business, they have to make money, but there's an honest way to make money, and then there's a damn right disrespectful and low down way to make money, and this is even further lower down than that. This is absolutely disgusting.
This event put me in a tough dilemma. On one hand, there were 7 new tanks that, as a content creator, I wanted to cover. Making videos about new tanks is always attractive content, both in terms of views and revenue. But on the other hand, the content was locked behind a gambling practice that was much more aggressive than everything we've seen before. And I felt that no matter how I make a video about these things, I'm going to promote a system that I strongly disagree with. So, before the start of the event, Lanikia and I spent a lot of time thinking how we should handle this situation. At first, we were considering making videos with a disclaimer at the beginning, saying something like, we do not support these boxes. But how can I say at the start of the video that I don't recommend buying them and then show you how fun the tanks are? Basically promoting it.
That is an interesting and very, very good point, because that is what Quickie Baby did. If you guys remember, he basically did the video criticising the loot boxes, and we'll actually get on to what he said later, because he said something very similar to Iyouxin, pretty much identical to be honest, which is why Wargaming say the main reason for banning him from the CC program is. But however, that's what Quickie Baby did. He made a video disregarding the loot boxes, saying, look, this is absolutely outrageous and disrespectful to the community that have put so much time and effort into World of Tanks. And then he actually then went on and started to play and review some of the new tanks that you could only get in the loot boxes, actively promoting them, which was a totally wrong thing for Quickie Baby to do. Absolutely, I don't really know what he was thinking when he did that. He basically said, don't buy them, but have a look at this 8,000 damage game that I'm going to get and look how good the tank is. And Iyouxin was basically the first one that said, I'm not going to review it and I'm going to take the hit. And I think Quickie Baby got 2 tank reviews out before he got so much backlash he had to stop it. And so what that really indicates, it indicates that the actual player base felt the exact same way that all of the CCs did, eventually, Quickie Baby, which was that, you know, we shouldn't be reviewing them, we shouldn't be promoting this. So it's interesting that Iyouxin's getting all the backlash for this, and there's a reason for that. It's because he started it. If it wasn't for him, I do believe that more content creators would have just kept on going with the tank reviews, and I'm very, very glad that he did, and he actually came forward about it and basically put his foot down and said absolutely not. And so that's basically what he's referring to there. And yeah, Quickie Baby, one of the largest World of Tanks content creators, should have done a hell of a lot better there, which he did. To his credit, you know, he did actually stop it, and he went, look, I'm actually going to hold off on the tank reviews. And I believe he took down his current 2 tank reviews and then re-uploaded it after the event had done. So he redeemed himself. Absolutely fair enough to him. We all make mistakes, but I just basically wanted to highlight that Iyouxin was the one that said, I'm going to do this, and then he actually did it, and he stuck with it. So fair play to him.
Therefore, we've made a very difficult personal decision not to create videos featuring these tanks for as long as the loot boxes were on sale. And in our video about the event, I asked you to vote with your wallet because I hoped that together we could show Wargaming that these loot boxes felt problematic, both for the players and to us, content creators. Specifically, I said this. To everyone watching, my advice is very simple. Do not buy these boxes. If we collectively refuse to support this practice financially, Wargaming will have no choice but to listen. And please, let me know your thoughts in the comments, especially how I should handle the new tanks going forward. I want to ensure that we are on the same page, guys. The clip that you just saw is the reason Wargaming cited for kicking me from the program. On Thursday, Wargaming invited us to a call where they informed us that I am being removed from CC program. To us, this came completely out of the blue because there were no prior conversations, warnings, or anything that would suggest an outcome like this during last months. They followed up with a written message, which I'm allowed to share with you here. I decided not to show the name of the person who sent it because I want to respect Wargaming's community managers since they're just doing their job and I don't want them to be targeted. If you want to read the full message, you can pause the video here. Wargaming says this decision is not about opinions I shared about the loot boxes, and that they respect the right of creators to express themselves. Instead, they say that my call to action, the one that you just heard, violated rule number 8 of CC program, which states participation in or condoning of bullying or actions designed to incite, offend, or create unrest in our community is not permitted. According to Wargaming, me asking you not to buy loot boxes caused harm to other content creators, to the players, and their stuff.
This is where it starts to get wild, right? I mean, where do I even begin with this? I mean, as you can see, the fucking all ever famous rule number 8 comes into play here, which is you can have an opinion, but it can't go against ours. Which, I mean, why even have that as a fucking rule? Well, because it's an scapegoat, right? They can shut down anyone they want, like that, and yeah. Say something I don't like, yeah, bye-bye. Yes, that's essentially what they did. As you can see, Iyouxin simply says, I don't think you should buy it. Don't buy it, right? It's his opinion. You know, they've literally said that you're entitled to an opinion, and it's not for that. They basically said that we respect all of the CC's opinions. A CC gives an opinion, all of a sudden they're no longer a CC, right? A little bit counterintuitive. Participation in or condemning of bullying or actions designed to incite, offend, or create unrest in our community is not permitted. Right, where were they inciting unrest? Wargaming? You did that by releasing multi-tiered loot boxes in a PEGI 7 game. Right, and why were they multi-tiered? They were simply multi-tiered for the purpose of not letting people know how much money they would have to spend. If you go on the old videos of CCs trying to work out how much it is to spend, every single bloody one of them has different amounts. And why? Because it's so hard. It's impossible, right? It is impossible to determine an amount that it would spend to get all of those tanks, because they deliberately made it like that. It's a deliberate attempt to deceive you, and it's deceived everybody. So I mean, they incited unrest in the community. Bullying, I mean, I would say the big multi-million-pound company removing a small creator sharing his opinion is probably a little bit more towards bullying, rather than somebody just saying, hey, I don't think you should purchase this. I don't know how the hell Wargaming think that they were being bullied. I mean, that seems like, you know, like a fucking 7-year-old would say that and start crying and running down the hall. I mean, grow a pair, Wargaming, for fuck's sake. Actions designed to incite. Again, the loot box, it sort of incited itself. It's like throwing a lighter in the forest and then blaming the forest because the leaves were too dry. It's like, no, you threw that flame there, buddy. Okay, it's sort of on you, this one. And saying that's not permitted, basically having an opinion that differs from wargaming is not permitted in the space of World of Tanks, which is absolutely incredibly stupid for a team-based game where it's player versus player. Different players will have different ways of doing things, different tanks they will like, different opinions about it. And that's the whole point of the game, right? It's different people coming together and just playing. And when you have somebody that has obviously a large following, but a small following in regards to being a CC, that shares his opinion, says, look, I wouldn't buy it. Right, that's what he said. He played the entire clip where he said that. There's nothing hidden there. It's not taken out of context for his own benefit. He just said, look, I personally wouldn't buy it. And Wargaming removed him. Yet they have the balls to say that they respect people's opinions. Honestly, I mean, this is the laughable bit. And he goes on to say that there is a second reason, which we're going to get into next. But this second reason is like the bread on a sandwich, right? This is the meat. This is the main reason why he's been removed. And the bread comes in and it's just a little bit of topping. It's to make it look like a sandwich, right? It's just some crusty ass piece of shit bread, and it's to sort of try and divert people's attention from the fact that they've removed somebody for just saying an opinion. And so you'll understand what I mean when they say the next point being absolutely completely shit. So let's get on to that one next.
Also, they gave a second reason. The video was translated into Chinese by the community members. For context, if you didn't know, we have Chinese community. And some of the members of that community decided to voluntarily add Chinese subtitles to our videos and post them on Chinese YouTube platform called Bilibili. Because there are quite a few people in China who want to watch my videos, but don't speak English. So this is what happened. And the reason why I got kicked from CC program.
I'm going to be honest, I have absolutely no idea how that's even a point to remove him from the CC. I mean, you see what I mean, where it's like, it's sort of the distraction, and then the main thing is in the middle, sort of like a sandwich. But yeah, I don't understand how a person, another person, not related to the Iyouxin channel whatsoever, translate his videos into Chinese and then re-uploads that onto the YouTube just because, you know, maybe Chinese people like to watch YouTube as well, you know, maybe they're allowed to. Yeah, like that clearly was just an additional point they put in to make it look more valid to remove him from the CC program than it actually was. the main point, and I'll stress this again, is that he asked people not to spend money on the loot boxes, which is a totally valid point, and he's allowed to do that under free speech because it's his goddamn right to do that, and that's why. And yeah, it's his opinion. When the event was going round, I saw plenty of people in the new tanks like that MBT, that bullshit overpowered, better, basically a better T57 heavy, but you have to pay for it, and that's why it's better rather than the free one, which is just mental. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely wild. But I mean, even Iyouxin, Quickie Baby, Skill for You, they all said, look, if you don't want to purchase the loot boxes like we recommend, absolutely fair enough. That's no worries at all. However, if people choose to, that's their choice. The game's their passion. Fair enough. And they said, do not be mean to anyone, don't bully anyone in regards to them getting the new tanks. And I never saw any of that in any of my games I had with people with those new tier 10s. I mean, I called them a virgin behind the fucking screen because they are. But I never saw any bullying in the chat, anything like that whatsoever. They took the CC's messages on board and they gave you the option of, sure, if you want to spend £1,500 of money on pixels in a game, which, I mean, if you do, you don't just need a psychiatrist, you need a fucking doctor to open up that head and examine that brain of yours, because there is something very, very wrong with yourself. But, you know, it's free will, you can do what you want. However, you cannot force people into being open and verbal about their stance on the current situation of the game. And so why is Wargaming going to all of this? You know, we've seen Quickie Baby did a video very, very recently, before the multi-tiered loot boxes came in, basically saying we've noticed an increase massively in the amount of loot boxes. And this isn't just standard tanks for sale, this is loot boxes. Like we already discussed, they throw so much crap in there, it's so hard to get the content you want out of the loot boxes. And with that little bad luck prevention system, where in 50 boxes if you're guaranteed a tank, it's basically meant to make you buy more. Let's say you buy 25 boxes, okay, you don't get anything. Ooh, I could be close. You constantly see that little timer. You constantly see that 25 boxes and you've got something. And so instead of seeing it as you spending more money for 25 boxes, you're basically made to see it by Wargaming's own initiative as, if I don't spend money on 25 more boxes, I will be wasting that 25 more than I spent. I mean, it's typical gambling ideology in a PEGI 7 game, which is disgusting. How it's even allowed, I don't know. Absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, that second point that Wargaming made has absolutely nothing to do with him being taken out of the CC program. If anything, it helps them because it spreads the content to a wider audience. And a lot of the bigger CCs are more Western-speaking people, and that's just something that's on YouTube, and you can see from all of the figures. And if Chinese people want to watch sort of people from other nations that speak a different language play the game, then they are more than entitled to do that. And it's completely out of Wargaming's league to try and censor that, and it's absolutely disgusting. Everybody deserves the right to watch whatever content they want and be subjected to multiple different viewpoints, because that is how you learn and that's how you make an informed decision. And again, it's Wargaming going back to the fact that they want to censor people to stop doing these movements. They want to make a point out of Iyouxin, and as such, they want people to stop speaking out about their horrible monetization methods. And that's exactly what's happening here. And, you know, next time they do these boxes, will Quickie Baby, Skill for You, will they make an outrage video? I truly hope so, and I truly hope they won't be bullied by Wargaming's intimidation tactic, because you look at their game graphs and it's going down. It's going down. And, you know, I was saying, why do they need to do this heavy monetization? Like we already said, Quickie Baby noticed a big influx of loot boxes. There was pretty much, you know, one happening every 3 months, which was absolutely ridiculous. And it's because they're trying to branch out, right? They're trying to make new games. But these new games are crap. Like, they're absolute shit. But here's the problem. If you make a game and after 5 months of it being out and people testing it, it's getting no positive feedback, would you A, continue with that game and completely ruin a game that is making you income and milking the absolute shit out of the players and the game in order to fund the game that isn't working? Or would you say, right, that game didn't work, let's focus on the games actually making us money and let's go back to our bread and butter and perfect it? Me personally, I would work on something that's already been working. It's the obvious choice. People like World of Tanks because it's a, it's a fun strategy game. But when you release tanks like the MBT, which can come around the corner and just one clip you in under a minute, completely destroy your tank, how is that strategy? That's not fair. That's not going right. He's obviously just got the edge on me because he's a better player. That's going, he spent more money on the game than me, therefore he can kill me. Absolutely, totally horrible. Yeah, my thoughts out to Iyouxin. I wish him the absolute best of luck. I will be watching his content a lot more now, and I will be subscribing to him. But no, he did the right thing. And yeah, we're going to watch the bit at the end of his video where essentially he states that, look, I stand by what I said, and fair play to him. He's not crying to Wargaming to take him back like they probably want him to. He's saying, that's the point I made. That's not going to change my opinion. And that's really good for him. And I do hope that Wargaming gets a lot of outrage to this. I don't agree with Iyouxin's point, however, that there shouldn't be any backlash to Wargaming. There should be a lot of backlash to Wargaming. I encourage everyone watching this video to go to Wargaming and comment, and I really hope some of the bigger creators with a much louder voice than myself are going to come out and stand against this. Is absolutely disgusting, absolutely horrible behaviour, and it's a very bad turn in the game, which unfortunately we've seen a lot of so far. And that little gem of what the game is slowly fading, which is a real worry for myself, who has been in the game. When did I start? When did the game come out? Like 2012. I think I started in 2015 on Blitz and then moved over to PC World of Tanks. And the unfortunate thing is that I've had a lot of fun with it, and I'd hated to go down this route of being just you enjoy, we'll do the content. You say anything bad, you're going to get a repercussion. Absolutely trash. But no, thanks so much for watching the video. Like I said, thoughts out to Iyouxin. Wish him the absolute best of luck, and make sure you support him because he's brilliant. Cheers, bye.
With this, you can make up your own mind. But here's what I think about it. I stand by what I said in the video. I didn't attack anyone. I never called out other creators. I didn't harass, bully, or insult anyone. I didn't ask or encourage anyone to do any of that. I only shared my opinion about the event and encouraged people to make peaceful, personal choice, not to support a monetization system that I believe is bad both for the players and content creators. I don't think that my message should be considered a violation. If this is inciting unrest, I'm worried about the CC program and the path Wargaming is taking. As creators, we are being encouraged by Wargaming to share our opinion all the time and even voice criticism. But this decision doesn't feel like support for free expression. This isn't the kind of environment that encourages honest discussion or community trust. Regarding the Bilibili post, we've had loyal Chinese-speaking community members supporting my work for years. They've asked if I am fine with them adding subtitles to my videos so that others in the region can engage with my content. And I don't see an issue with this. They do this fully voluntarily without any obligations. Personally, I'm not involved in translations because I don't speak Chinese, but I have no reason to believe that they are not done in good faith. I truly believe that the real unrest was caused by the monetization event that was new and controversial, and not by my video. It makes me sad that my video may have been perceived as the primal source for unrest, because that's just the last thing that I would want for the game that I love. Now, finally, what does all of this mean for the future of this channel? Losing CC status means that I no longer have access to press account. I will not be able to participate in CC-only events and get special drops on Twitch. I won't be able to get early access to new tanks that are coming into the game, and hence won't be able to prepare videos on them on time. All of this is very unfortunate and going to make things a lot harder for me. Losing such content opportunities will also hurt financially. But here's what doesn't change. I will stay here. I will have my voice, my passion for making videos, and most importantly, you. An amazing community. It was always my goal to be honest with you. When I thought that Wargaming was doing something right, I said so. When I felt they were unfairly attacked, I defended them. Even when some of you didn't agree with my decision and criticized me for it. But now, I disagreed with Wargaming's approach to the recent loot boxes and shared my thoughts openly. Even though this time, my perspective wasn't well received on their side. But I'm going to stay true to myself. Ultimately, guys, I don't make videos for Wargaming. I make them for you. You have supported me throughout all these years. You are the reason I am still here and why I can live my dream. And I will never forget that. To everyone who has been with me, who has maybe shared a kind word here and there, or maybe who was watching my content silently. Thank you, guys. And finally, to Wargaming. It was never my intention to hurt anyone or cause any negativity. I love the game and I want it to thrive. I'm always open for dialogue, and I hope that there is a future where we can talk again. I believe we all want the best for this game and its community. And I hope that in time, there will be a way for mutual understanding and future collaboration. In the meantime, I will keep doing what I've always done, making the best content I can for the best community I know. My friends, thank you for being with me. I truly appreciate it.
Copilot?